My dear child, I am writing to let you know that Rue and I are well. I'm sorry that I was unable to say goodbye to you properly, and I hope you can understand why we had to go on this expedition. We are going to the North Pole to find the last polar bears. I remember going to the zoo one hot summer's afternoon and seeing my first polar bear. There was no snow for him to roll in, no icebergs for him to float upon. That was no life for a polar bear. I could not save him. How could I? You can hardly smuggle a polar bear under your coat and walk out with him, can you? Come on, Rue. Here you are, then. Ice cream for Rue. One day in the British Museum, I found a map of Great Bear Ridge, and I knew then that is where I would find the last polar bears. Your mother said I was too old to go off to the North Pole by myself, but all my life I've either been too young or too old to do what I wanted to do. So, this time, I decided that I would listen to no one. Sorry, Rue. I decided to take Rue with me. Huskies would be better, but I couldn't afford to feed them. Rue said that her particular breed were in fact better than Huskies, but that no one had ever given them a chance to prove it. She said she had heard of the North Pole, and that one of her relations helped to put it up. Tell Uncle Freddie I only want his golf trolley for a little while. It'll be our sledge. Don't worry, I'll be back. 5th of October. Dear child, I have a very nice cabin. It has 2 portholes, one for me and one for Rue. Rue has not been a very good sailor. She says that dogs aren't supposed to go on ships. I told her that some ships always have a cat on board to kill rats. Rue said that anything a cat can do, a dog can do better, and that dogs are famous for being great sailors. She said that her grandfather was probably the captain of a ship. He probably was, I said. This afternoon, Rue asked the captain if she could have a go at steering the ship. For half an hour, we went around in circles. Rue said dogs always steer ships this way. The captain was worried about the ship hitting a rock, so he took over, and we continued in a straight line towards the North Pole. I am giving these letters to some fishermen who are on their way back home to Aberdeen. They said they had seen some bad storms, with waves as big as houses. Of course, I never mentioned anything about bad weather to Rue because I thought it might upset her. Thursday, the 10th of October. Today, Rue announced that she had changed her mind about finding the last polar bears and that she had decided to go home. She said that she had been mistaken, and it isn't snow that her particular breed are good on, it is sand. Rue said that dogs are excellent swimmers and that she could swim home if she wanted to. I was frightened she just might try it. Tonight, Rue insisted on sleeping in a hammock. I wish she would sleep in her basket like a normal dog. Last night, the engine took a real pounding from the storm. When the captain tried to get it going again, nothing happened. Until Roo helped. Roo said that her uncle had lived in a garage, and that's how she knew so much about engines. I said I had never heard of an engineer dog. Roo said that if there were police dogs, there were bound to be engineer dogs as well. Friday, the 18th of October. We have landed at Walrus Bay. The captain wished me luck and said goodbye. He gave Roo a tin of macaroni cheese. I think he really liked her. The town of Walrus is not a bad place, really. There are a few shops and a mailing station where I can send and receive letters. I picked up the key to our new cabin. It's not much, but it's home. Monday, the 21st of October. Dear child, the weather has been terrible since we arrived. Roo complains about the cold most of the time. I've given her a pair of socks, but she says they're the wrong color and won't wear them. Today I was woken by wolves running across the roof. It was the second time this week, and Roo says if they do it again, she will leave. Where she thinks she will go, I have no idea. I'm sure they had been drinking old sock. All this is Grockman's fault. He shouldn't sell them drink. "23rd of October. Today the weather cleared, and in preparation for our expedition, I took Roo out to practice dragging the trolley. I'm very angry with Roo. I would like to begin the long journey up to Great Bear Ridge, but I don't feel that Roo is ready yet. She will take more training than I thought. 28th of October. Dear child, we have been stuck inside the cabin for 3 days and are so short of fuel we had to burn some of our possessions to keep warm. Rue is very upset about her basket. In the end, I had to tell her the story of the ice cream on Bear Ridge to cheer her up. Once upon a time, I told her, the snow was so pure and clean that it tasted better than the finest ice cream money could buy. But as the air got dirtier from all the chemicals and fumes, the snow lost its taste. The last of the world's ice cream lies up on Bear Ridge, and that is why we are going there, to get ice cream for Rue. Rue loves this story, and I must admit I have added bits. The fabulous chocolate mint chip that can only grow in the shade. The delicious strawberry split found only at sunset. These are my own inventions. Rue felt much better after this. 29th of October. Dug our way out this afternoon and went down to Walrus to stock up on provisions. Spent a long time searching for the shops. Everything lay buried beneath the snow. Eventually found the mailing station after Rue fell down the chimney. After stocking up on a scarf, a yellow ball, some peanuts, a pair of Wellingtons, porridge, and some tent pegs, the mailman handed over a long, thin parcel. Your father had sent me my old one-iron. It's my favorite golf club. Not only good for long shots and putting, but it's also an excellent ice pick and walking stick rolled into one. I am sure that with my one-iron, I will definitely make it to Bear Ridge and find the polar bears. Later on, Rue and I went to look for driftwood at Blue Whale Bay. Whilst we were gathering wood on the beach, we rescued some frozen seagulls. '30th of October. The seagulls came back to life after thawing out by the stove. They were very confused and made a terrible mess. Rue found the whole incident most distressing and is now in a very bad mood. I decided to get my one-iron and go golfing. I played a marvelous shot. Unfortunately, it hit the wrong target. When I brought the unconscious penguin back to the cabin, Rue was very annoyed. She said, "Why didn't I invite the whole of the Arctic into our home and be done with it? We could fill the place with sea lions, Arctic foxes and seabirds, and we could sleep outside." I had to tell her to be a little more caring for her fellow animals. She said they didn't care for her, so why should she care for them? Hip, hip, hooray, and 3 cheers. The penguin has woken up. Went outside to get wood for the stove. It struck me that something was wrong. I rushed back in and I noticed the calendar. It said that today was the 32nd of October, which cannot be right, as October has only 31 days. Today should be the 1st of November. Rue said that she couldn't care less how many days there are supposed to be in October. Every day is the same to her, and days shouldn't have numbers attached to them anyway. Something very strange is happening, though, despite what Rue says. I think we should set off for Bear Ridge as soon as possible before it gets any stranger. 33rd of October. This morning we set off at once. We met the wolves on the way up the slopes. They seemed different, more like they must have been before the mailing station came. Wolves! By lunchtime, we had reached the gentle slopes, and we had started the long climb up. Once, I looked back and saw the cabin, a tiny speck in the distance. Rue was pulling the trolley with great enthusiasm, no doubt driven along by the thought of ice cream, and so, by tea time, we were halfway up to the top. We got into our sleeping bags. Penguin didn't, as he is used to sleeping without one. By tomorrow, we shall have reached the top. Very sleepy, your grandfather. Sunday, the 34th of October, a terrible day. We stopped, and using my one iron, we cut blocks of snow to build an igloo. We have very little food left. Just 5 fish and some porridge, that's all. Only 1 sleeping bag. Everything else was in the trolley. Very despondent tonight. I can hear the storm outside. 35th of October. The storm has not stopped. Stuck in the igloo all day. Played I Spy with Rue to keep her spirits up, but there were not many things in the igloo, so the game was very short. Child, you know that I am old, don't you? That is one of the reasons why I went away. I have to see the polar bears before it is too late. The snowcaps are melting. The polar bears have nowhere else to go. When I have seen them, we shall come back. Don't worry, child. We know what we're doing. With love, your grandfather. 37th of October. We now have only 1 fish left. 38th of October. Thank heaven for Rue. This evening she produced her tin of macaroni cheese, which she said she had been saving for a special occasion. It was the best thing I have ever eaten. Storm's still going as strong as ever. All 3 of us in sleeping bag to keep warm. Bless you, child. Your grandfather. 39th of October. Dear child, very weak. We have no food left. I feel more tired than I have ever felt in my life. I shall dream of the polar bears tonight. Rue says she will dream about ice cream. The polar bears are here. This is a beautiful world, and it goes on forever. Shush, Rue. Tomorrow we will search for ice cream for you. Ice cream for Rue! Wow!